Yo, everybody. I'm here with a client of Viral Growth, Cardinal Mason, one of our favorite clients. And Mason, why don't you just kick it off and tell everybody what your business is, what your offer is, what you're selling, and then yeah, we can go from there.
Yeah, what's up? My name's Cardinal Mason. I've been on social media for a while. Had a couple different types of products. The one I'm really all in on now is Copy MBA. 95% of the one product that we sell is this inner circle. It's 5,000, and we teach people how to write copy. We teach them how to get clients. We throw them clients if they're good at what they do, and we have a lot of happy students, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hear lots of great things about the program, and always like seeing some crazy results that you're throwing up in your story. But obviously, you've been on socials for a while. Like you've had audiences, before we even started working together. But you came to us, I think, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago initially, and wanted to sort of kick off the IG to like the next level. So if you wouldn't mind just like telling everybody what kind of results after we eventually did work together, what kind of results you got.
Yeah. So my first audience was on Twitter. I started that back in 2021. Grew fairly easily on there. Like writing has kind of always been my thing. I've been a copywriter since 2020. So it was easy for me to sort of crack Twitter. And then after that, I hopped on TikTok, and I was just making these shitty low quality videos of me screaming at a camera talking about money. And then I cracked that. That was even faster than Twitter, where just my 4th or 5th video is now one of my most viewed videos. Got 6 million views or something like that. And I've been able to get a bunch of views there and grow really fast. I think I'm at my peak. I lost a bunch of followers because of some little incident. I don't know if you remember that, but I was at 45. Now I'm maybe at 470. And then YouTube that was kind of easy. I had a team help me out there, but Instagram was the one that I felt like I just couldn't crack. It was really annoying because I hopped on about a year and a bit ago, probably early August. And that was when I was trying to use it as a marketing channel, basically. And I knew that Instagram had potential. I saw all these guys who had 200-300K on Instagram, and they were just printing. And I was like, okay, I could do that. And my original strategy was just take TikToks that I'd made that have banged on TikTok and then post them on Instagram. That just didn't work. And so I was repurposing all this stuff and kind of making reels, but it was aimless. And my growth was really it wasn't slow. It was just below my standard. And I had been grinding for a while, and I keep seeing people blow up. And I was like, why am I not blowing up? I know my content's not bad, but the problem was I just didn't really understand the platform that well, which is when I came to you guys, and I was like, okay, I need guidance from someone who actually understands specifically Instagram, because I previously thought that if you just post good TikToks on Instagram, it'll do well. It doesn't work that way. There's a whole different world to Instagram that I didn't understand. And so when you guys came in, we'll probably end up talking about this, but the first video that we did together got 18 million views and ended up growing me. I think I probably got 15,000 followers from that. So I went from 80-ish to 95, and now I'm at 100, which is insane.
I remember the first call we had, it was literally, you said, I just want to grow, make me go viral. And I was like, say less, let's fucking do this. And yeah, it was insane. I remember that video, it hit maybe 5 to 10 mil, and we were texting all right, I think this is the legs have finished on this one. It's not going to go anymore. And then a couple of days later, it just got a second leg and kicked up to 17, 18 million. But I think your appointment setter might have either hated us or loved us, because I think it got 20,000 comments of people inquiring about the details for a Copy MBA. Can you kind of tell people roughly, obviously it's hard to track from organic, but roughly do you have an idea of how much revenue that one video generated?
Yeah, so just for background, we get almost the majority of our traffic from Instagram. We'll do these story call actions and stuff like that. We'll just anytime, a couple times a week, we'll just throw up hey, DM me this, and I'll show you how to get to 10K a month of copywriting. We'll get a bunch of people opt in. It's usually between 100 and 300 people that'll swipe up or something like that, give us the keyword. With this, it was a comment call to action. We probably got about 8,000, 9,000 real opt-ins. There were a bunch of comments that weren't the keyword, and then half of them were me responding back to people saying hey, DM'd you. That's like how the ManyChat thing works. We had probably driven, I don't know, it wasn't like the highest quality people ever, but like my goal has always just been to go like broad as hell and then kind of just like find those people. But like we definitely made 6 figures from that one video, like 100%.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like one video, 6 figures. And that's like, I think that has to be some kind of like record in the agency world. Like one video ROI'd you on our services. So like
Higher engagement. Yeah.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It was like a
So
5x on what I ended up paying you guys.
crazy. Should have charged more. But how do you think? So obviously, you run paid ads as well, and you know a lot of guys in the, I guess, in the coaching, course selling world that probably run a lot of pay ads. How do you see an organic personal brand sort of playing into the ecosystem with paid ads? Like, do you think it's important? Do you think it's an opportunity for people to hop on?
Yeah. So that, I mean, we don't really run a ton of paid ads right now. We have the model kind of flipped. The way that you're supposed to run a business is not like 80% organic, 20% paid, or in our case, like 95% organic, 5% paid. It's supposed to be 80% paid, 20% organic, and like you nurture leads from paid with organic. And so we're moving into new territory where we're gonna have to flip that soon because like we've made almost 10 or 8 figures from organic. Like there's only so much you can squeeze out of an audience. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to like start to pivot a little bit and just find new people from cold and learn how to run a real business, which is what we're going to do. And so when that happens, it's a credibility thing where it's like people are going to know who I am because they've seen my face before. And also if they haven't, they're going to be like, okay, this guy has like over 100,000 followers. Like he must be someone. And like my engagement is there to match it too. So it's not like I bought those followers. Those are real people. And like they're showing out in the comments and liking stuff and viewing stuff. It makes it really easy for ads to work. Like that's kind of the key. And when you're spending money on ads, everything helps. Like anything you do on the credibility side or the nurture side or anything like that is going to help make that more profitable. Because it's just we don't live in a world anymore where you can just spend $1 and get back 5. It just doesn't work that way. So for us to get there, we have to have a good Instagram. We have to have good socials, and I feel like I'm getting there.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of guys that are relying solely on paid, obviously, I mean, like you said, we're kind of not in the world anymore where you can spend $1 get 5. Everyone's margins are kind of like ads are getting more expensive every single month, and I think that if guys are running paid and they're not running organic, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because you're not going to be able to stay as profitable as you want to be because organic is, you might have to pay a couple commissions to a closer and a setter, but at the end of the day, it's as close to 100% margin as you can get by making a sale through organic. Like you don't have to spend a whole ton of money on ads just to make a sale. It's just you put up some videos, maybe you have some minor expenses on the, like an agency or like a team or whatever. But at the end of the day, like we've seen here, like one video can net 6 figures in revenue just from one video that didn't take a ton of time to put out there. So I think guys that are running only paid content or paid ads rather, and they're not doing organic, I think they're doing themselves a huge disservice by not being able to tap into those free sales essentially.
100%. Yeah. Like there are guys that are doing $1 million a month straight organic. I don't know if we want to name names, but I don't think that's like for that to happen. Like you have to be pretty fucking special. Yeah. I don't know if I'm that guy, but I mean, we've done extremely well just off organic, and that's going to carry us, that this Instagram, like if we keep growing at this rate, like we'll be good for the next 2-3 years for just organic.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to use ads if we don't want to. We're going to, but we don't have to.
Like, so your video, I think, is probably one of the top 5 highest viewed ones we ever put out. The highest one we ever put out was 60 million. And that was like 30 on IG, 30 on TikTok. And when we got that view count, that account's at like 1.2 million at the minute, like in terms of followers. But as soon as we started hitting those back-to-back videos where it was like, 8-figure viewing counts, the following just went vertical. Like literally you would wake up the next day and you'd have plus 50K, plus 50K, plus 50K, like every day. So, I don't think there's really any other way to run a business that has that same kind of potential. Like if you just have that, if you have some back-to-back viral hits, you find the formula what works, you find the format that's working, and you just keep doing that until it doesn't work anymore. You can grow these massive audiences to multi-million followers, and like you said, guys are doing a mil a month, and they might only have like multi-six-figure audiences, let alone like a seven-figure audience. So I think the fact that you got 17 million on one video, it shows that your brand has that potential to do those kind of numbers consistently in terms of views and get that growth. So if you're able to hit, a handful of those videos every single year, then before long, you will have like a fucking massive multi-six-figure at minimum audience. And I think that's super, super, doable for your brand. In terms of, what do you think is the current landscape of sort of like the online business world or like the content in general? Like, what are you seeing out there that is not working anymore? And where do you think everything is going? There's a lot of trends out there. There's a lot of people that want to hop on the content, sort of wagon. Where do you see this going? Do you think this is going to be something that will continue to be important in the future? Or do you think it's like a fad? What do you think?
Oh, I mean, it's 100% going to be important. Like that is something that like no one can really take away from you. I guess maybe they can delete your account, but they can never take away like the feelings that people have for you. Like it's okay. So what I'm seeing a lot of now is a lot of like BS videos that don't actually really tell you about the person. And like you can have some videos, like we have that too, where it's like a video where it's really just kind of like clickbait and like getting people to sort of go down the rabbit hole. But we also have videos where I'm talking about me and I'm showing my personality and I'm showing like who I am. And that's actually what makes people want to like follow or buy or just like, support. Right. And I feel like the way that it's going, it's so easy now to make a viral video. Like it's really easy to get a video to 1 million views. And like maybe you get a rush of followers that want to learn about whatever business model you're teaching. Specifically for me, I care more about like, do these people actually like would they die for me? And like, if I post a reel and I have like 100 comments of people that have like followed me for like a year and they like actually like me, that's how I know that like there's room to actually to make a real impact and like people will be diehards. Like I don't want like you see that a lot, bro. It's actually very common to have like 200,000 followers or something like that, and you get like 5,000 views a reel or something like that. You get 3,000 story views. It's sad. Like on 100K followers, like I'm getting, between 30 and 60,000 views, most of the time more per reel, and like 20,000 story views. Like that's a strong audience. I feel like the more people invest in like actually like a real strong audience that genuinely cares about you, like that's going to matter way more than just views.
Yep. I think today since they changed up the algorithm where I think when you get a follower, most of them don't see like a reel. Like if you look on the insights of a reel, it's like 80-90% non-followers. That's for the vast majority of people. But for brands like yours, you would have a much higher percentage of your actual followers watching a reel. And I think that's the difference between people having followers and people having fans. And I think you have fans rather than followers. Like people actually like fuck with you heavy on your account, and that's why they tune in to see your content all the time. They watch your stories, they comment on your stuff, and that's hard to do. That's hard to actually build a brand where people resonate so much with it, where they would be considered more of a fan than a follower.
It's also the legacy factor, like I've been in the game now on Twitter for like 3 years now, on TikTok for 2.5 years, on Instagram for a year. There are people that have known me from Twitter since like way back in the day, people that have followed me on TikTok after that first banger I posted back in March of 2022. So like it really does compound. And I guess the advice is like understand that audiences are built over like years, not weeks or months. And I know that sounds like a cliche thing and people are gonna be like, well, yeah, but I want to make money now. And it's like, well, you're gonna make money. It's like, it's not gonna happen regardless. You might as well invest today in building a personal brand so that you can have this opportunity. Like I know that this time, 2 years from now, like I will have 500,000 on Instagram. I will have, maybe 200,000-300,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like the brand will be stronger than it's ever been. And it's going to be way easier to do this stuff. But that comes from the work that's done between you and me now,
And what would you say to people that, feel like they want to figure out the whole personal brand thing on their own, like just sort of go through it, make their own content, come up with their own ideas. Because obviously you're a big content guy, like you said, you've been running your own content for years, but then eventually, you came and worked with us. So what was kind of like that decision making factor where it's like, okay, I want to work with somebody to help me? And how would you, what would you say to people that are thinking of maybe just trying to figure it out all on their own, or should they go and get help from somebody else?
I mean, okay, it depends on where you're at. Like if you are starting from zero and you don't have a business, then I would say, yeah, you should try and figure it out kind of on your own, like try and get like a base following. But I'm at a point now where it's like, I mean, we're doing, multi 7 figures a year. I have a big team. I have a lot of things that I need to kind of like focus on. It doesn't make sense for me to like sit down and spend like 20, 30 hours like learning the Instagram algorithm. I don't care. I just want to post the videos that I want to post, and I want them to go big so that I can like, nurture an audience and like do what I want to do with business, like hit those goals. It makes way more sense for someone who's at like 100K a month trying to get to 500K a month, and maybe they have like 30 or 40,000 followers, to partner with someone like you who can actually just tell them what to do and stop like kind of spinning their wheels. Because like there's a ton of potential there. Like I think maybe a belief that people need to break is like that you can't make that much money off social media, that like if you are stuck at 100K a month, then you'll just be there forever. It's like, well, no. Like there are people that print, $200,000, $300,000 every time they do a story call to action. I know those people, you know what I mean? So it's a worthwhile investment to figure this shit out. And I mean, you guys are super fair. You guys are good at what you do. You guys make a ton of content. Like I laughed a little bit when you said I'm one of your favorite clients, because like I admittedly, I know that I'm not the most like responsive client. Like you guys, poor Candela has to like ping me 80 times a week in Slack for me to review shit. But I mean, like you guys just do so much. You guys like really have it covered. Like there's a lot of like shitty agencies, and you and I both know that. I've worked with some shitty agencies. You guys are just not that. You guys are on your shit. You guys are responsive. You guys know what you're doing. You guys have the results to back it up. Like I have no real like issues with anything.
Amazing. So last question, would you recommend Viral Growth to your friends and family?
Of course. I think if someone's really trying to hyper grow and they're doing it specifically to like for business, like they have a product, then yeah, it totally makes sense. There's some people that just make content for the love of the game, and like maybe they don't really care too much about making sales. But if someone is like stuck at a revenue number and they're trying to grow their social so they can, triple the numbers organically, then yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I would recommend for sure.
Amazing. All right, Mason, I appreciate your time, brother. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing, a little bit about your story and, your experience working with us. And yeah, really looking forward to what the next year brings. Let's get you up to 1 million followers.
Let's do it.